Hey there guys, let's talk about push-ups, more specifically push-ups for Murph Prep. I've been talking an okay amount in classes about, hey, if you're interested in Murph, if you're gonna come out for Memorial Day, start to fit in some more push-ups and pull-ups. I've been saying, come to me if you need ideas. And I've realized that I should probably put some other ideas out there rather than just waiting for people to come into me. So my bad, right? And ask for those specifics. So I want you guys to walk away with 3 basic concepts. Rather than just adding more volume, aka every day doing 1 more push-up or 2 more push-ups, or consistently trying to get 50 push-ups in every day, realize that yes, that will get you results, but it's constantly just throwing more fuel into a fire rather than asking, hey, rather than just going ahead and slapping more fuel into an engine and hopefully it burns hotter, heavier, and I'll be able to go faster, how can we look at redesigning the engine to go ahead and take the same amount of fuel but be more powerful, right? So anyway, maybe that's not the best analogy because all of us are gonna be motorheads out there, but it's the whole concept. How do we not just do more of the same thing? Because a lot of times doing more of the same thing to get to the end the goal, and especially with push-ups and pull-ups, we can go ahead and overload our shoulders, and these are fragile puppies and we need to be careful with them. So there's 3 basic concepts. Can we increase range of motion rather than volume? And that's gonna give us a really good stimulus. Can we go ahead and increase time under tension rather than volume? That's gonna give us another type of stimulus. And then can we increase the need for stability? Now, of course, all of these could be done in a horizontal plane like a push-up, in a vertical plane like a dip, or a vertical plane upwards like a push press. Ideally, if you want to build, I would say, capacity with a push-up, think of the horizontal press and the vertical down press I found over the decade of me doing this has built more into a transfer of helping with push-ups. So you could also add load as well, but usually that's only really feasibly done very well with a weight vest. So I'm not gonna really talk about that. In reality, you're just gonna wear a weight vest, and then I would suggest doing one of these 3 variants rather than just adding more and more volume. So here we go, we've got a pair of rings. This is the first variation. Remember, I'm gonna give everybody the horizontal version. That mimics a normal push-up more, but remember, all of this could be done in a vertical downward press like a dip. So we've got ring push-ups here. You go up, down. If you can, have a turnout, that'll go ahead and engage more pec, and all this extra stability of the rings will go ahead and help build muscular endurance, raw strength, without just adding more volume. And you'll see how you figure out that much more quickly. You could also go ahead and do deficit. Deficit is, I like kettlebells when I do this, or you could do plates elevated or dumbbells, right? And I'm gonna go ahead and just be here. I'm gonna go down where the floor would normally be is where my hands would end. And now I'm able to keep on going lower, feel a really massive stretch through my pecs, and then I'm gonna have to learn how to press and gain tension, create torque through range of motion that I'm normally not used to. That's the deficit. Now, the other item is going to go ahead maybe doing normal push-ups, but just at a tempo. So maybe I'm gonna go ahead and decide to do 3, 2, 1, hover at the bottom for 3, 2, 1, and then go up for 3, 2, 1. So I'm just under tension for longer, but I'm gonna be spending, that was an even count of 3 on each end, but maybe I'm gonna spend a little longer on the area that I'm the most weak at. So let's say the weakest that I'm at is gonna be the very bottom of the push-up, for example, right? Just throwing out there. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna just do a 1 count down, and then I'm gonna hold here with my chest barely touching, not really resting on it for a few seconds. And then I'm gonna practice staying tight and driving out of that hole. And then I'm building fatigue, muscle memory, neurological recruitment, all those other items within that challenging position. So remember, that was stability, range of motion, and then having more time under tension. Now, of course, you could go ahead and combine everything and say, hey, coach, I'm gonna raise these rings up just a little bit, and these are slightly elevated, so I'm gonna go ahead and say, I'm gonna do a tempo, 1, 2, 3, but rather than stopping here, I'm gonna get my chest all the way to deck, right? I'm a deficit, I'm having to deal with stability, and I'm at a tempo because I'm slow through range of motion, and I'm gonna drive back up. So you can combine all those, get a really kick butt stimulus with small amounts of reps, as long as you do it right, with zero load on the joint in a negative way, because volume, even done correctly, if you do too much of it, is a bad thing. Just kind of one of those things, guys. So there you go, longer video, but just here's some ideas of how to build in some prep work for push-ups, and a lot of times push-ups are on everybody's bucket list to just be better at, right? But here's one way that's a little contextual, different ways to think about it. Rather than just doing more, stop doing more, right? That's the biggest takeaway that Amy and I have over the decade of training, that we found having less training times within the week, like only working out 3 to 4 times a week, but having an hour and working out really hard and intensely and intentionally, not with just more and more volume or things to do, we've seen the most amount of results. Now, of course, if you're learning a new skill or there's other items like that, sometimes you have to burn some more time on the neurological side, just spending the time to practice those, but rarely is that beneficial once you acquire the skill. Figure out how to do it without volume first, guys. Guys, we'll see you on the flip side. Good luck with the Murph, and hopefully we'll see you May 31st on Memorial Day for Murph, brunch, and digestible athletics. That's always a mouthful. I'll see you on the flip side.